Hey guys, just a heads up. There's going to be some heavy spoilers in this episode. We're going to be talking about the Dragon Age and Mass Effect series, so there's going to be spoilers for Dragon Age Origins, Dragon Age Origins Awakening DLC, Dragon Age 2 Mark of the Assassin DLC, Dragon Age Inquisition, and the DLC Trespasser, absolutely for Trespasser,
Why
and
was it a
Descent.
DLC, by the way? Sorry, go ahead.
I don't know.
That's annoying.
Anyway,
Anyway,
there's also going to be spoilers for Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, and all of the DLCs involved in the series. So, yes, beware. If you don't want any spoilers, better skip this one, kids. Okay.
do you hear what I hear? It's not Christmas, it's Easter.
It is Easter. God, it doesn't mean anything to me anymore. This morning, I got a text from my mom's cousin going, "Hey, happy Easter." I was like, "Oh, right. Today's Easter."
Do you know why I know it's Easter? Because I went to Walmart yesterday and I definitely saw all the Easter candy and I was like, fuck yes! Starburst jelly beans. Yes! They're the best.
I decided to be good and not get chocolate, but I do have artisanal ice cream in my freezer, and my friend is going to come over tonight, and we are going to have a walk. We're going to take a walk with, 2 meters apart. But I'm going to bring us ice cream cones.
Oh.
So we'll be apart, but we'll be having ice cream together, apart.
Is 2 meters 6 feet?
Yeah, around
Okay.
that. It's like a meter. It's a meter and a half for us that we have to take like proper distance, but 6 feet is about 2 meters.
Oh my gosh! Side note, so I don't know how much you follow American stupidity, but as a Texan, my governor decided that he would like to
I heard.
slowly release
Mm-hmm.
the restrictions on
Yep.
staying at home. I'm like, oh, you want us to die? Is
Yep.
that what it is?
Yep.
Because Dallas was number 2 in the entire U.S. of, fucking coronavirus cases and deaths. But it's
Oh
fine.
my
It's
goodness.
fucking fine. Let us all burn.
Your governor's an idiot.
He's a total twat sandwich, but it's
I'm
whatever.
so sorry.
Same. And it's going to be annoying because that means that people are going to start. I don't know what my job is going to do personally, but I'm going to. I'm annoyed. So let's see what
Because we have
happens
to
in May.
deal with public as well.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
On the regular. And people
My
already are
God.
trying to come in and be like, can we, are you guys open for tours? And I was like, just because, do you realize why you're home right now? You're home because your job closed because of a virus. So why would you think that just because you're off of work, you can come to my place of business so that you can stand next to me and go look at an apartment?
Yep.
This isn't a vacation, you fuckface.
Let's get this stranger to take us into a confined space so that we can then cough all over them. That's a great idea.
As we ride a golf cart to said confined space.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I hate
Hey,
people.
but you know what, Vanity? The world right now, it sucks. So I got a question for you.
Yes.
Where would you rather live? In the world of Mass Effect or Dragon Age?
Ooh. Both have like shitty things happening. Okay. All right. First of all, because Mass Effect is all one kind of world, we're not going to talk about Andromeda, like for that process of where I want to live.
For now, we're not going to talk about Andromeda. Andromeda is going to come later when we rant about EA. So for now,
Yeah.
we're going to put Andromeda aside. When we say Mass Effect, we mean 1, 2, 3, and the DLCs. That's
Okay.
it.
All right. So that being said, we're talking about Dragon Age because 1 and 2 run concurrently, kind of, but then 3 kind of runs after.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. I feel like I don't want to live in like the Dark Ages without showers. I.e. the world of Dragon Age, but I would say Mass Effect. I would say Mass
You would
Effect just
prefer
because
your modern conveniences.
kinda, yeah. I just prefer a toilet.
I get that. I get that. I wouldn't want to poop in the woods.
I don't want
But
to poop in the woods.
that makes sense. I mean, one could argue, oh, I don't want to live in a world where the universe is about to end. But I mean, if you go to Thetis, there's a giant hole in the sky and demons are falling out of it. So I don't think that's
I mean,
an improvement either.
there's holes everywhere. Like,
Holes everywhere.
no matter
Vanity
where.
2020.
But no matter where you go in Thetis, there was like literally like giant rifts. Like you can't
Yep.
escape them. They're everywhere. Like
Yep.
that was one of the things that, man, when I was playing, I was trying to get to a certain spot, and I was like, well, fuck. I mean, I had to make a whole wide ass berth, so I don't have to run into this rift. I don't feel like playing this rift right now. I just want to get to where I'm trying to go. But every time
Yep.
I'm trying to get there, there's like
The
7
one
rifts on your
was it
way.
the one in the hinterlands where you're walking by as a lowly level 3 or 4 going like, oh, I gotta do this quest and save this bull here.
Oh my
And
god, the Druffalo quest!
and the Druffalo quest, and all of a sudden you pass by a rift. Oh, look, it's a rift. I'm gonna go close it, and everything's level 12, and they sneeze at you and you die.
Oh my, yes, and then the stupid
Yeah.
flying witch with the fucking ice.
Oh god, I hate those so
I
much.
hate her
The,
so
the
much.
wraiths are the worst.
She's literally the worst.
So horrible.
Just because of the fact that like when you are lowly level anything, you cannot. She just keeps killing you
Yeah, they
because her
just come
dumb
at you.
ass. And then if you have spec your fucking mage not correctly, or you don't have the right like staff, you're not going to kill her because if you have an ice staff or all ice things, she's
Yeah.
not going to. It doesn't do shit for her. So you
No,
have to
it doesn't. So
redo everything for
if you
fire.
walk in with Solus and you have him spec to ice, that's just gonna do fuck all to her. You're just gonna be standing there. Thanks, Solus. You fucking useless, as usual.
Fucking giant egg with eyes. I hate Solus
Yeah.
so much.
We're gonna get to why in a minute, but I think I would have to agree with you on maybe wanting to live in the Mass Effect universe because modern conveniences. Also, in the Mass Effect universe, you know, life is similar to what we have here. So, really, you can have a relatively comfortable life to look forward to no matter where you're born. Because I'm just going to assume that because we're so technically advanced, like poverty and all that shit are not as prevalent as it is today. I'm just going to assume that. That is my little utopian thought. And I want to stick with that. However, in Dragon Age, if you get born a mage, you fucked. If you get born an elf, you fucked. If you're born anything other than like a human in a relatively good position, you're kind of screwed. Or if you're like born in a religious family and they decide, oh, this kid is just really good with that stick he just picked up, we're going to promise him to the Templar Order. Then you have a life of drug abuse, forced drug abuse to look forward to.
When you're addicted to the lyrium forever.
Yep. I mean, you can say what you want about Dragon Age. Like, the Emerald Graves are beautiful to look at. The Storm Coast is stormy but picturesque. And who wouldn't want to get lost in the hinterlands forever? Not me. But,
definitely not me, because
like, the
you were 17 hours
establishment.
in it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh my god, I can leave?
I've just tanked 4 hours into this game and I haven't left the hinterlands.
I haven't left the hinterlands. What do you mean there's more shards? God.
The fucking shards. I have yet to collect them all. I've been trying.
I've never done it.
Through, but
I've never done it. I just lost my patience. I was just like, no, I don't care if there's more shards. Just fuck your shards. Don't want them anymore.
I just don't care.
Like, it looks pretty, but the establishment is not great. And like all the things that I mentioned before, if you're born a mage or an elf or anything, if you're born a mage into Vinter, you Gucci. If you're born an elf or anything else into Vinter, you fucked.
And at one point in time, they lock your ass in there.
Yeah, they do. It's like, oh shit, everybody's sick. Shut them down. Shut them down.
Like for half the game, every time you walk by it, you're like, "Can I go in?" They're like, "No."
No, there's a plague in there. You don't want to go in there. But like, are there still people in there? Yeah.
Yeah,
they're gonna let them out. No, we let the plague out. Yeah, but people in there. Okay, never mind. Just
and then
it
turns out it's not even a fucking plague. It's just a fucking. I can't.
Yeah, it's the worst. But
okay, so let's Let's split. Which one did you play first?
Did I play Dragon Age or Mass Effect first, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
I played Dragon Age first. I
I'm
played
trying
Dragon
to.
Age Origins first,
Oh, baby
and I
orange.
made the mistake of picking a human noble, and I played through the origin story for that, and I just had to cry so hard that I stepped away from the game and I didn't pick it up for like 2 or 3 months after, and I was like, "Oh right, I should probably give this another shot."
Wait, why'd you cry?
You've never played the male noble, the human noble origin story?
I have. You mean the parents?
Yeah, man, that
Oh yeah, that
fucked
sucked.
with my
That
head.
sucked. That did.
Although that was like in the first couple of months that I had moved to Scotland and I was living on my own for the first time and I wasn't used to seeing my family whenever I wanted to. So that hit home pretty hard for me because it was like, oh god, she lost her parents. So yeah,
I'm trying to
maybe that was why.
remember who I think I played. I played Dragon Age first, and I I am a notorious mage. I love mage characters. If there's a
Hmm.
mage character, I will play a mage character. Like I love AoEs. I love fucking raining hailstorm down on people. It's what
Yep,
I do.
it's pretty great.
So I played Dragon Age Origins as a mage, not knowing that mages kind of are a step above an elf. I played the entire game through, wooed, what's his pants, Alistair.
Aw, BB
I
Alistair,
was
sweet cinnamon roll.
I was so excited, which by the way, it's really funny if you played all the way through, then go back and play it after you've played 1, 2, and 3, and
Yep.
You see Cullen in Dragon Age
Oh,
Origins.
sweet baby Colin with
I
his
was like,
curly
I was
hair.
like,
Ah,
baby Cullen, Mister. I hate mages and everybody Cullen and OG. But anyway,
uh,
he evolves. He has a good character involvement.
he
But
had really
anyway,
good character development.
he did. So I played all the way through, wooing Alistair, making sure that he was going to be king. I was ready. I was ready to be his fucking queen because we were dating and we were going to be
Nah,
great. And get
bitch.
to the end, and it's like, well,
Nope.
I
Denied. You got pointy ears. Fuck
it's
off.
like he's like, well, you're a mage. I
That
was like, but
too.
I was like, but I'm human. And he was like,
That
but
too.
you're a mage, and
Yeah.
well, we can't really
Can't
have a
have that.
mage be a queen
Can't have
because
that.
apparently that's just against the. I literally rage quit. I didn't even finish. Like when I
No.
realized I couldn't be queen, I rage quit and went all the way back to the beginning and
Oh
play
my
as
god,
I played.
really?
I did. I played as a human rogue noble. I went all the way
Wow.
back.
Wow.
I was
Wow.
so mad that I couldn't be queen. Like
My
I was
god.
so pissed off. I was like, but why?
I am now so angry that I am going to literally stab everything.
And also, I hadn't really played as a rogue ever before, which is a learning curve to play as somebody
Yep.
who
Yep.
is either
I was
daggers or.
always caster as well, so anything like in melee range for me was a learning experience, especially in that game because that game's hard.
Hmm.
Like gameplay wise, like even easy can be pretty challenging. And I'm speaking mostly about the deep roads now. Do you remember the deep roads,
I
or
fucking
have you
hate the
repressed
deep
it like me?
roads. I hate the deep roads. I hate the deep road just as bad as I hate
The fade.
like yeah, sucked.
Like whenever you talk about Dragon Age Origins to someone, they're like, "Do you remember the Fade?" No, no. After like when I got to the Fade, I got drunk and literally blacked out, and then it was over. And I don't know how I did it, but it's over, and I never wish to speak of it again.
Oh
That's the
my
Fade.
gosh, the fade, and honestly, each iteration of because you have to go to the fade every time, and
Yeah,
each time you go, it still sucks.
it's
Each time
like
you go to
icky
the deep
and
roads,
green.
it still sucks.
It's not great. It's not great.
And in the deep roads, everything looks the same, so you're never quite sure where the fuck you're going, and you're like,
Yeah.
am I going the right way? Am I going in a circle? Like,
Although
am I?
the deep roads in Inquisition were pretty interesting if you played the DLC God, which one was it? Descent?
I rage quit Descent.
Oh no, why? It's so good.
Um, because I kept dying. Okay, so
It is pretty difficult. It is pretty
I have
hard.
backstory. I have bought Dragon Age Inquisition 3 different times.
Wow.
Uh, I bought it once. The first time I bought it was on the 360, and then I bought an Xbox One because Andromeda came out and it only came on Xbox One. So
Yeah.
I was like, let me go ahead and buy Xbox One. But then I realized I
Back when
couldn't
we
play.
still thought that
It was
Andromeda
gonna
was
be
gonna
good.
be good.
I never finished it.
Really?
I,
You didn't? You
I
never
never.
finished it?
I got an
I
out.
have. You
We'll
didn't miss
we'll
anything. But we'll
we'll
get
we'll
to that later.
explain why I didn't finish it, but there's a reason. Um, and then so I got it on 360. Then I got my Xbox One, and I realized I couldn't play. It wasn't backward compatible,
Yeah.
so I had to buy it again on
Oh
the
goodness.
Xbox One so that I could play it. But luckily, I imported my save. Everything was fine. I can play. Then I moved, and I lost the disc,
Oh
or so
no.
I thought. And so I lost the disc, so I had to buy it again. This time I was smart and I bought it on the store, so it's digital.
Hmm.
And then funny story, like about maybe a couple weeks ago, I found the disc.
Oh no.
Yeah, I just found it. Like,
Whoops. To be fair, I've done that before. I have The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess for the Wii twice because I thought I'd lost the disc. So I bought it again, and then I found it like a couple weeks later. So I feel you. And then I bought it again for the Wii U when it came out because HD remaster. But
but when I bought it on the store, it came with all the DLC. It was the Game of the Year edition or something like that, I guess, whatever. So it came with
yeah,
everything.
I recently bought
So
that for the PS4 because it was like $7, and I was like, yes, please, even though
yeah,
I only play it on PC.
I think when I got it, it was like $35 or something like that.
Yeah.
So because they've been out for a while, so I bought it, and that's one thing we need to make sure everybody understands. Dragon Age, I think, has been Game of the Year. I think
It was Game
every
of the Year when it came out. I'm not sure about Dragon Age 1 or 2.
I know
Um,
Inquisition was. I'm pretty sure Mass Effect had been too.
let's see. Dragon Age 2 had generally favorable reviews. Origins had universal acclaim.
Origins was beautiful.
Dragon Age Inquisition garnered numerous Game of the Year awards and nominations. But I don't think the previous ones actually got Game of the Year.
Hmm. I can see why two didn't.
Yeah, 2 was a bit rushed. Like, don't get me wrong, it's my
I love
favorite
two.
in the
Is it
series.
really?
It's my favorite in the series. I will die on that hill. I have reasons why that I will get into later when we talk about each separate one and why we love them. But 2 is my favorite. But it was a bit rushed, and I can see why people had certain complaints about the game, and like I can see why they would be
I think
unhappy with it.
I
But
think all together, Dragon Age, all of them, the replayability of it all
amazing.
is amazing. I have
I've played
replayed
it so
all
many times.
three so many times, and my
Mm,
roommate hadn't seen one or two. Like, she watches me play, and she hadn't seen the storyline for one or two. So I played it all the way from the beginning, so she can see it from the beginning.
hmm
And uh, she was invested. And like, whenever he finished one, she's like, "Okay, now what?" I was like, we're gonna go on to two," and that's when she is so anti-Templar.
Well, in 2 you would be. In 2 you would be.
Every time she's like, "If you don't fucking side with those mages," and I was like, "Okay." She is
That's the
like,
thing, though. You can replay these games so many times and you can make so many different choices, but really, you just go back and choose the exact same thing all over again
"Okay."
because
So
why would you pick anything else?
I had to like make myself make different choices. Like, I had to think of my character and what she was, and because I want. Oh, we'll go into it, but I had to think of my character and what she would actually pick, not what I
Hmm.
would pick, but what she would pick.
I've
The
done that.
only choice I never changed was the Chargers.
Yeah,
Fuck it, I
Chargers.
can't do it. I
If you
can't do
let
it.
the Chargers die, you're a monster and you deserve hell.
You deserve every piece of hell
Mm,
because I did it. It happened once.
how dare.
The very first time I told you this when I didn't
Yeah.
know I didn't know it was going to happen,
When you didn't know any better.
and I immediately, both of us just sat there with our jaws open, like just agape, like just sitting there,
Just gobsmacked and
eyes
then go back,
eyes
go back, go
watering,
back.
eyes
Load
watering.
save,
Like,
load save.
when was the last time you say it? I'm like, I don't even fucking care. Go back.
Go
Like,
back. Yeah.
we just stood there and watched poor baby Creme die, and I was like,
Oh no, that sweet baby Creme.
no.
Oh,
Okay,
he's so precious.
he's so precious. Okay,
And
so,
fucking Dalish with her bow.
oh, it's just, it's
There's a
adorable.
crystal on your bow. It's for aiming. Old elvish technique you wouldn't understand. You stupid Shem. It's like, oh, okay.
Oh, I love him so much. Okay,
Oh, they're
so
so great.
anyway, so back to like Dragon Age is great for story. Both these games are great for storyline purposes.
Yeah.
Like if you like a story, it
You
is
get
awesome.
invested. You
Um,
absolutely get invested. You get attached to characters. Same with
you
Mass
do.
Effect. You get attached to these characters, and when something happens to them, it just like it rips out your very soul. And it does this
So
several times throughout the series. Just
the
be
best
prepared.
part about Mass Effect is that you can carry your Shepard with you. Like
Yes.
Dragon Age, like your character does appear randomly. Like whenever I replayed Origins, I actually had to import my character in. I don't think I don't think I saw my character, but
No.
Alistair comes and talks about his wife, the
Yeah.
queen, blah, blah, blah. And
Yeah.
that's me. I'm like, it's me. And then
That was sweet.
to
Calls you the old ball and chain in two, and I fucking loved it. And like
and
I think Tegan was with him at that moment. I was like, oh, you better not let the queen hear you. And he's like, oh yeah, shit.
and then your character from 2 pops the fuck up in 3. Like she's completely there. Each play as a girl. Well, my mom's gonna say she because my characters are always girls, but
Yeah. Same.
so she pops up and is completely with you for a whole entire like quest.
Yep. And then it could
Oh god!
end
Oh god!
really badly depending on who else you took with you.
We'll talk about that one in a second.
Yeah. We'll talk about that one
Okay.
later.
So, but in Mass Effect, your Shepard, because Commander Shepard is the main character who you play, girl or boy, it's still called Commander Shepard.
Yeah.
Commander Shepard carries throughout the entire game.
Yeah.
Shepard will make her way through all 3 games, and this is why Mass Effect 3 ripped out my soul, stomped on it,
Oh
threw it
god.
against the wall, put it in
Oh
a pan, flambéed it, and then threw it in the dumpster and let the dog eat it, because I carried my Shepard
Yeah.
from Mass Effect 1 all the way to 3,
Yep.
and then they're like, ha ha ha, gotcha, bitch. And you're just
Yep.
like, what?
And it's like it's such a ride as well, because like in Mass Effect 1, you start off with your Shepard, you just got the commander rank, and you're like starting and learning everything with Shepard. The first time you go to the Citadel, learning what the politics of the council are like, becoming a Spectre, like you're just going through the ropes and learning and just seeing all these new things with your Shepard. Then in 2, it's like, oh fuck, the council are up to their shenanigans again, fucking bastards. Oh well, we're just gonna keep doing what we're doing. But also, holy shit, all of the things that just happened, I gotta process this, really messes up my worldview that I have. So you're like learning some new things and carrying over some old things. And then 3 is like, we've been through this. We have, been saying that the Reapers were coming for so long. We've been preparing. We're now at this point.
Your face.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Sorry.
Your face and the rest of you, the fucking rest of you. You basically broken everything and built you up from scratch. That is the thing that happens, guys.
It is.
So, that's what makes it so great as well. Like, 2 is absolutely my favorite in the series.
Same.
It's so good.
Great. It's so
emotional
good.
Roller coaster, man. Because
oh my god,
smack at the beginning, you fucking die.
And
like you actually die. Like you're there,
shattered.
You are shot into space, and then your fucking spacesuit oxygen tank breaks, and you're just there. You're just sitting in front of your computer, watching your Shepard gasping for air in the cold, dead vacuum of space. In like the first 5 minutes, you're like, "Oh, okay, this could be that kind of a game. That's great." And that's just the beginning.
I honestly thought that when my Shepard was going to die, I'd play a new character. Like, I didn't know that I was coming back. And I was like,
yeah,
what's a bunch of bullshit? Why did I even report my character?
Are we not doing Shepherd anymore? Was it just this? Nope. Because turns out after you smash through an atmosphere and splat all over the planet's surface, Cerberus finds you and builds you up from scratch. Like all you have is a couple of gnarly scars, which you can get rid of if you want to.
And Cerberus, and who looks like a fucking doctor. What's his pants? And
Oh, fucking elusive man. Yeah.
him and his fucking cigar, and I hate him so much. But
he's such an asshole.
It's so cool how they did that though with Mass Effect. The reason why they do that, I think, it's because the graphics changed so much, and if you were to import your Shepard, I think they did it so that you can like kind of redo your face a little bit if you wanted to.
Yeah, because obviously otherwise they were just going to like take this template from one and sort of recreate it how the system would interpret it. But then maybe you wouldn't like the look of it anymore. So at least now you have the option to
kind of tweak a little bit of from 1 to 2, because the graphics took a massive jump between 1 and 2.
Yeah, they did. They really did. For the better.
For the better. So the graphics took a huge jump, and you wake up after gasping for life, and Mass Effect has such a great amount of characters. So let's shelf Dragon Age for just 2.5 seconds, and let's go to Mass Effect. First of all, did you kill Ashley?
Yes.
Always, me too. And I feel bad because I like Ashley.
As if I am going to leave my future husband on an exploding planet. Are you fucking kidding me? It's just not happening.
I think if you have a male shepherd or a lesbian shepherd, you'd probably keep Ashley. But if you have a female shepherd or a shepherd,
I don't know, man. I know some girls who left Caden behind because they were like, I don't like him. He's too whiny. But like, so is Ashley.
Look. The reason why I had a huge problem with Caden and Ashley is because I am a adept or whatever, so I have biotics and tech. So Ashley is straight red. She's the straight red one.
Mm-hmm.
Red line. My brain's not like bringing what it is. But then Caden is straight
Renegade.
biotics. No. Her skills.
Oh yeah. I know what you mean.
And then Caden is straight biotics. So like I hardly ever used him because my shepherd had all the powers that he did, and I didn't need him on my team.
Makes sense.
I only needed him in my bedroom. So
you are here for one reason and one reason only, Caden.
Like he has no other purpose. So it's like
that makes sense.
But
no, to be fair though, I really enjoyed him as a character more than I did Ashley. Also like his character growth a little bit.
Let's talk about how pissed off he is at you that you are alive in Mass Effect 2, though.
Oh my god!
It's like, bitch.
I was like, standing there, like, fucking Garrus at one side of me, and I think it was Tally on the other side of me. And when he said that, I was just like,
I love Tally so much.
Garrus, hold me back. Garrus, hold me back. I'm about to smack a bitch. Garrus, hold me back. I was fucking pissed, not gonna lie. But that's what I loved about the story, though, because then I was like legitimately angry at him, and I was like, fine, fuck you then. I'm just gonna go save the universe. I don't need you. And then when you see him again in 3, you have like that whole mission on Mars, and you're still pissed at him, and you're still arguing with him, and then he gets the shit kicked out of him, and then you see him there in that hospital bed, and you're like, oh my god, Caden, please don't die. I love you. It's
so funny, man. Because it. So this is the thing: if you romance him in 1, and then you romance somebody else in 2, and then in 3, he is so like, you didn't wait for me, and it's like.
Because he doesn't. In 2, you get an entirely like mostly new crew because you're with Cerberus now. You've been dead for 2 years. Your old crew has moved on, and then you get like all these profiles of people to recruit. Some old familiars come back. You have Garrus and you have Tally that come back, I believe, and then there's a bunch of other like new crew that you get back. Yeah,
Liara comes in, but
yeah, you
you
ask her to
meet
come
her.
back, but she's like, "Oh, I'm kind of busy right now." Yeah, being the fucking shadow broker, you sneaky bitch. Um, but you definitely get Garrus and Tally back, which is great because I love Garrus. He's my buddy. But you then encounter, yeah,
Garrus
you
is
then encounter
everything.
either uh Ashley or Caden on Horizon, depending on who you let live. And if you romance Caden in the first one, he comes back and he's like, "Oh my God, Shepard!" You hug it out, and then he's like, "Where the fuck have you been? And why the fuck are you a Cerberus now?" It's like, look, okay, legitimate question. However, not my fault. And he doesn't believe you. And he's just like, "Oh, you're terrible."
I just woke up,
It's like,
bruh.
fine, fuck you then. I don't need you. But then in 3 you do. Although it is possible
It's
to
great.
romance someone else in
So
2, and then if you try to get back together with him in 3, he's gonna be all like, "You cheated on me." It's like, bitch, we were on a break.
a whole break. So can we talk about so one of my favorite characters actually has one of the most depressing story arcs ever.
Oh, sweet
Thane.
baby Thane, it still hurts. I don't want to talk about it. It still hurts. Ow, that hurt.
Okay, so all right. So Mass Effect has a wealth of characters in it. Like Mass Effect 1, you have your core peeps. You have your Shepard, you have Caden, you have Ashley, you have
He's
Joker, who is my
so
favorite, voiced by
great. I
Seth
love him
Green.
so much. Precious,
And there's
fragile
a
boy.
whole, and yeah, with his
Yeah.
fragile legs and that whole part when he's like trying to
Yeah.
crawl through the
And
fucking
he's just like, shit,
ugh,
shit,
ugh,
shit,
ugh.
shit through the entire ship. I fucking love it. I love it so much.
It's great. It's so great. You have Tally. Tally is what
She's a
is her
Quarian.
actual? Look at her. What is her?
No, you
And you
don't.
never see her face, but her voice is so pretty, and you just think that maybe she would have like a pretty face.
Well, there is a picture
Um,
of her.
and then you have
I think if you romanced her in 2, if you romanced her in 1, it's, I think in 2 in your cabin, there's a picture of her with her face uncovered. I think. Yes. There is a picture of her with her face uncovered. I will send it to you.
Please do. And then there's Garrus.
Man,
Garrus is
Yep.
a Turian, and he is your like
your
fucking
wingman.
sniper man. Like Garrus, you can romance him. It's weird.
Tried
He doesn't have
it
any
once,
lips,
but I
so I
couldn't
don't
do it
recommend
because
it.
he's my BFF.
Yeah, like he is like
He's
your
my bro.
your ride or die man. Like he is with you
It's
through
like
the
romance,
entire
like
game.
starting something with your best friend. It's usually a bad idea. Don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it. So Garrus, then you have Tally, and you have Rex.
Fucking Uncle Rex,
and
man.
I love
He's great.
Rex.
I love him.
Rex's storyline also so each one of your characters, just like in Dragon Age, each one in Mass Effect, each one of your characters has like their own like origin story kind of a deal, and they have their own companion quests. And that's what I love most about these games are companion quests. Like it's not just like, oh, these people on your team, whatever, they help you fight, blah, 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 blah. No, you have to like get to know them,
They can.
and they can leave. If they don't want to be around
I'm
anymore,
not
they can
sure
just
if
deuce
they
the
can
fuck
actually
out.
leave
Like,
in Mass Effect, but in Dragon Age, they can. They can.
oh, cough, cough, Isabella.
Fucking Isabella, man. I love her. Look, boobs, I love you, but you did a shitty thing there, and I'm still salty about it. Not gonna lie.
She comes back.
If you're nice enough to her, like if you have a certain amount of approval or disapproval with her, she comes back. If not, you fucked. Then you have to fight the scary bull man, and she just never shows up anymore. Because that Aeroshock fight was murder.
Let's talk shelve it for a minute, but Iron Bull. That shit pissed me off. And we'll talk about that in a minute. Because my game glitched, and that's
we will. We'll put a pin in that. And
that pissed me off. Okay, so Rex, he's a Krogan, and their fucking story sucks. Like their story reminds me of when I get real like historical for a second, but like the Tuskegee experiment when they infected all like a bunch of black men with syphilis to see what happens.
What?
Oh yeah, that's a thing. They infected a whole bunch of
Oh my god, people
yeah,
suck.
just to see what happened. They weren't sure what it's American history sucks. So they injected
So
a
I've
whole
heard.
bunch of black men with syphilis, unknowing to them, to see what happened. Because they it's like human experiment, kind of a deal. And
Gosh, it pisses me off.
yeah,
That's just why.
so it reminds because they didn't in devil's advocate style, they didn't know what syphilis would do to people. Like they didn't know.
Still, they knew it was
Of
bad.
course. So they didn't
Also, don't
know.
fucking test it on people,
Yeah,
you jerks.
of course. So they did it on. They did it that it's the Tuskegee experiment. Look it up if you want to. It's a really shitty part.
You want to know what it does? Infect yourself with it, you moron. You'll have a front row seat to what happens. God.
There's a movie about it too. It's a really good a documentary about it as well. Anywho, so they did that, and that's what Rex his story reminds me of because they like
the
Solarians,
Krogan history is yeah.
They injected the fucking Krogans with this like disease. They infected them.
So what they did, basically before all of that happened, there was an invasion by an insect race called the Rachni, who were basically destroying everything. Sorry. The queen. But the Rachni were running out of they're running out of control, destroying everything, and they needed to be stopped. Come in with the Krogan. The Krogan are this race of aliens who just live for fighting. They're very sturdy. They have 4 testicles. They're very sturdy. They're very strong. They live for battle. I'm not kidding. It's true. They do.
They do.
They call them their quads. Instead of saying you don't got the balls to fight with me, you don't got the quads, son. It's great. It's great. But yeah, so enter the Krogan. So basically the council asked the Krogan, like, can you fucking please take care of this problem? And they were like, we got you, fam. And they destroyed the Rachni. However, then the council went, thank you. You are really, really dangerous. And you breed very, very fast. This could be a potential problem. Enter the Solarians, who basically, what they did was they really dampened their fertility.
The Solarians are this like super genius race. Like they're just like really smart scientists race. Like they're just like if you
also spies.
Yeah. Spies. If you have and they have weird looking faces. If you have a science problem, you call the Solarians.
Mm-hmm. But so what they did was they developed something called the genophage, which affected only the Krogans and basically made it so that they only have like one baby in was it 1,000 or 10,000 or something that would be viable. So basically the Krogans' reproduction dropped straight down. Something that the Krogan are still pretty salty about, and basically drove a wedge between them and the Solarians. Like, wouldn't you fucking be pissed? But yeah, that's basically what the Krogan have. Their problem is that they can never, or very rarely, reproduce or produce a viable offspring. So their numbers are dropping.
So that's
drastically.
That's like Rex's that's his companion quest, really.
Yep.
It's good.
And it comes back into play over the entire 3 games. So that is something that you're going to be dealing with. You deal with it in 1 when the bad guy has convinced some of the Krogans that, hey, I can fix that for you. Spoiler alert.
He can't.
He's lying. So then you have to because Rex is like, oh, no, we can't stop him because he has a cure. And then you have to be like, Rex, buddy, come on. You know that's not true. And he's like, yeah, okay, fine. Or you have to shoot him, depending on what choices you make. It's also a possibility. No, not you shoot him. Ashley shoots him, or tries to shoot him, which is also a reason I leave her, because, fuck you, Ashley. Then in the second one, it also comes up because you encounter Rex again, but you also he doesn't join your team, but you get another Krogan, Grunt, my sweet baby Grunt. My sweet, sweet
Oh,
space son.
baby
Um,
Grunt.
he's
He's a
a tank
daft.
bred. He's a tank bred. He's basically a Krogan who was bred from scratch to be like the perfect Krogan by another Krogan who wanted to give the Krogan, I'm saying Krogan a lot, who wanted to give the Krogan an opportunity to, reproduce again without having to reproduce. So he's like, we can do this, we can fix it
He's a test tube baby.
by growing. Yeah, he's a test tube baby, and he's just my sweet baby angel, and I love him, and he's precious. So that comes back into play. And then 3, in order to, fight the Reapers, you actually have to find a fucking cure for the genophage. So that's great.
So, Rex, the Krogans, they have a really shitty backstory. Then you have,
They really do.
and then you have, Edie. I forgot about Edie. She's in 2.
Edie's great. She's your ship's artificial intelligence, although she's not really an artificial intelligence. Like, she's an actual intelligence. Like, she's not just a computer. Like, she's fucking sentient, man. It's great.
It's good. And then, so you have, one is good. You have a core group of people, and you're just learning everything. One is great for just getting your feet wet, learning what's happening, realizing that people are like, nothing is what it seems, and everybody there's like a little vein of something going underneath everything. And then you hit to 2, and you get like, again, a whole host of characters because you lose. Don't you get Joker back in 2 though?
You do. You get Joker back. He comes back as your pilot in the beginning.
Joker stays with the ship pretty much. He's like, look, this is my ship.
Yeah.
So fuck all y'all.
He's in love with the Normandy. He fucking loves it. So then after Shepard died, he got booted off the Normandy as they're like, oh, well, the Normandy was destroyed. And he's like, well, we don't have a ship for you, so you stay here now. And then Cerberus was like, hey, we're building a new Normandy. You want to pilot it? He was like, fuck you, Alliance. I'm a terrorist now.
Because
But
Joker has like a brittle bone disease or whatever. Like,
he does.
So no one thought he could be a pilot to begin with. So when he gets like fucking shelved from the Normandy, like, he's just kind of like, I
have lost my purpose in life.
What do I do for my life? And then so he's like, the minute he can, he goes back to the Normandy. He's like one of your only familiar faces that you see at first. And then you're like, oh great, he's back. Sweet. Joker does not trust Cerberus at all. He's just doing because he wants the fucking ship. Like, he could give fucks about anything else.
He's like, do I trust him? No, but they let me fly, so they're better than the Alliance in my book. And I can sort of see why that is. The Alliance done him dirty.
They did. But like, one of my favorite characters is somebody that you can't romance, and you know how salty I was about it?
Which one?
Vega.
Sweet muscle boy.
Look, Freddie Prinze Jr. voices, by the way, spoilers, Freddie Prinze Jr. voices a lot of characters, and I think he has a kind of like secret handshake with Bioware because he's
in like the Star Warses. He's in Mass Effect. He plays the Iron Bull in Dragon Age Inquisition. It's great. He's good, man.
Also very awkward to realize he plays Iron Bull because Iron Bull is daddy. Okay, like,
yes.
He is my go-to romance in Dragon Age Inquisition. Like, I keep saying I want to, like, I did Cullen first because Cullen is Cullen. Maybe Cullen. But after I did my Cullen romance, it's always Iron Bull.
I have only done 2 romances. Well, 3 in Dragon Age Inquisition. First one was Cullen because obviously. I'd been waiting for that since Origins. 2 was Solus because I'm a masochist apparently because I heard that it hurt and I wanted to know why and how much. And my God, does it hurt.
I made a elf so I could try to romance Solus, but I should have done it first because I cannot stand his character, and the fact that you have to like literally kiss his ass the whole time just to make him you, I couldn't do it. Like, I think I can't.
I could respect him. Like, on some level, I was like, I did develop kind of like this friendship with him where I'm like, we don't agree all the time, but I respect you, you respect me. And when he turned coat, I was just like, God damn, I thought you were my friend. Well, fuck you then. He gave me a castle. You don't do that unless you care about it. Look, that hurt, but we can get into that later. But the third romance was obviously riding the bull because you
You must
gotta.
always ride the bull. So it's
And out of all the romance scenes, all of them, his is the best. Because
it is the
he's just
best.
lying there after you guys did the horizontal tango, and he's just lying there. And then all of a sudden, people just walk in on you, and one of those people is Cullen, and he just walks in with a little clipboard going like, oh, sweet Jesus. Oh, I'm blind. It's great. I love it. It's
What
fantastic.
I love about Iron Bull is that he is one of the only romances that you have where he's like, look, we can make this purely physical. We don't gotta
Yeah.
we don't have
Yeah. No,
to.
no strings attached. We can totally do. He's just like, look, you've been looking at me. I've been looking at you. I mean, I'd be blind if I wasn't. But if you want, I can help you relieve that stress a little bit. If you get me. And he's not. He doesn't.
He's not skeezy about it. He's
He's
just
not
like,
in it. Yeah. He's just like, look, we can help each other out. We can scratch those itches if you want. That's totally cool. I'm not, a commitment kind of guy. If you just want to keep it no strings attached, we can totally do that. And I respect that.
I do too. However, let me tell you, like, if you want to make it more than just a fucking fly in the random scratching the itch, you have to kill a
Mhm.
dragon.
Yeah, you do. He is high maintenance, man. He is like, he knows he knows he's a 10, and he's gonna make you work for it.
So, one of my favorite characters, and
But it's totally worth it.
it is. I have two favorite characters. So, one of them is a carryover from Dragon Age 2, Varric. Varric
Oh, sweet Varric.
is my favorite. My lovely little
Uncle Chest Hair.
my lovely little chest hair, little dwarf. He's amazing. I love him and his earring and his storytelling, and it's so funny because if you play, so Dragon Age 1 is all about the Blight and blah 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 blah, and Morrigan and killing dragons. Okay, you meet Liara, you meet Liliana in Dragon Age 1. Liliana pops her ass up in 2 and 3. She keeps popping up.
Mm-hmm.
And has a great development. But you you meet Varric at the beginning of Dragon Age 2, and he's telling the story of the champion of Kirkwall, the champion, if you will. It was you.
It's basically quote unquote told in flashback.
And it's so funny because when he first tells the story, like, your sister Bethany has these giant ass boobs, and like all of this stuff is happening. And then Cassandra's like, what? And he's like, okay. Let me just back up and I tell you the truth. Like, it's so funny.
Yeah, like at some point, Flemeth shows up as a dragon, and just as she does, you have like this flashback to Varric, like flash forward again to Varric telling Cassandra about it, and she just basically slams the book down, going like, bullshit! And he's like, no, really?
That part's true!
You wouldn't believe a dragon flew in there? And he's like, I'm just telling you how it is, man.
It's so great.
And that's the great thing about Dragon Age 2. Like, there's a lot of ambiguity there, as in, Varric is telling this tale, and it is mentioned all through 1 and all through 2 and 3 that he tends to, like, over romanticize things here and there, and that you have to take he's the kind who likes to tell a good story. Mm-hmm. And if that means that he has to,
embellish a little bit,
he will. So how much of Dragon Age 2 really happened? You don't know, because everything that you play is basically what Varric is telling Cassandra. So what really did happen? Is it the way he told it, or was that just like an overreaction? Is it an embellishment?
It's kind of a mind fuck. Like, you're just kind of like, you're like, is this real? Which is why
this real? Is any of this real? Am I real?
Which is why Dragon Age 2 is a fun ride. It is fun to play. It is fun to. It's a good story, and it's a good like rags to riches kind of a story too.
It really is.
And the characters around you in Dragon Age 2 are great.
Well, I did say that it was my favorite, so this is why it's my favorite. The writing is fantastic.
It is.
The characters are great. It's just such an amazing story, because you meet these characters in chapter 1 and you grow with them. And it's not just going out to fight with them. Like, there's mentioning of them like going to the pub together and, just hanging out and having fun and growing as people. The banter, it's fantastic. I love it so, so much. And you just know that these people are a found family. Like, even if you have a rivalry with them, you're still family because they still stick with you. And that's what I love about that game so much. The characters feel so real and the connections feel so real. Like, spoiler alert, when at the end of Dragon Age 2, when Anders turned around and betrayed me, even though I didn't romance him, like, he was still my friend. And to, like,
Look.
find out that he then not only used me
The entire time.
to further his plan the entire time. Look, if you're playing Dragon Age, you're basically going to be accessory to some mage's agenda. Get used to it. It's going to happen. Mages are suspect. But he was like, hey, I need this. It's true.
Looking at you, Vivian.
But he was like, hey, I need this thing from sewers for something. Can you help me collect it? And you're like, sure, friend, I'll do that because you're my buddy. You've been with me since the beginning. And you do it. And then there's some other things that he asks of you, and you do it because he's your friend. You don't doubt him because you're like, bro, right? We're family. I got you, fam. And you do it, and then he fucking blows up the chantry full of innocent people, and then it sort of starts clicking, and you're like, oh, you son of a bitch. What did you do? So he basically pulled you into his scheme without telling you what he was doing. Because if he had asked me, like, this is what I plan on doing, do you want to help me? I could have at least gone, no, you need therapy. Right? Because that's what a friend does.
That boy needs so much therapy.
Oh, he needed a smack in the face, let me tell you. He goes around and he betrays you like that. And then he just sits there and he's like, look, I know what I did was horrible, but I had to do it. And I'm sorry. And you can kill me if you want. And then you have the option to either forgive him, let him go because you're like, I don't even want to look at you anymore, or stab him in the back.
I stabbed him.
I did too.
I was pissed. I was like,
I was so angry. Like my first playthrough, I just stabbed him. I was just because that was how angry I was in the moment. I was like, not only did you lie to me, you pulled me into this. You made me an accomplice in your fucking act of domestic terrorism. How dare you? But worst of all, I trusted you. You were my friend, no matter what happened or what people were telling me, because he was possessed by a spirit of justice. That is the thing. That is why he got Cuckoo Banana Pants.
And if you play Origins, the DLC, you see Awakening. It happen.
Yeah, you see it happen. But, like, that's kind of a mindfuck as well, because in Awakening, he's voiced by the same voice actor that voices Cullen, which was like, but still, but like that, like, no matter how many times people were like talking to me or giving me shit about, oh, you're still going around with Anders and he's possessed by a spirit and that's gonna be demon and he's a mage and he's dangerous and you should be careful because blood magic. I was all like, no, you sit down, mostly Fenris, you sit down and you stop that. He is a good boy. I can vouch for him. He's been my friend since the beginning. He's always stuck with me, and I can vouch for him. He's a good guy. And he fucking turns around and does that. Like, that stung, man. That was like the first betrayal that you got, and that one hurt.
You know why it hurt me more? Because my first playthrough, I romanced him.
Oh, honey, sweet baby. I'm so sorry.
I romanced him. We were like in a full-on like him and his man pain relationship. And at the end,
and he like moves in with you as well. And then you're like
in with me into my cool ass castle or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's all like, "Hi, I used you," and you're like, "Are you?" I stabbed him so hard.
Not only did you use me, you brought your sin into my temple. How dare you? Into my home.
I mean, I rage stabbed him. I was like, nah. I was like,
I was like,
oh, I have the option to stab him. Doing it. That's when I played it again, and I romanced Fenris instead.
I mean,
he also has man pain, but it's okay.
Fenris was my go-to romance in 2. I was like, I'd heard a lot of people talk about it, and they were like, if you really want the emotional connection, romance Anders. So I went in there fully planning to romance Anders. And let me tell you, the moment Fenris walked onto the scene and opened his stupid, beautiful mouth, I was just like, Anders who? Anders? I don't know. Fenris, hello.
You mean the drunk, angry elf who doesn't want to call himself an elf?
the drunk angry elf who doesn't want to be an elf.
That's whatever. Every time what's her pants talks to him about being an elf, he's like, "I'm not an elf," and she's like,
Oh yeah, like oh poor sweet baby Meryl. She just wants to be his
Look.
friend and to bond with him, and he's just like, "Don't talk to me." But you're an elf too. No,
Meryl.
don't talk to me.
Meryl is like your poor, sad, clueless friend, homeschooled friend. You know, like she's your poor homeschooled friend. Like, honey,
and like you think she's like, oh, but she's so sweet and naive, but you don't want to fucking piss her off because she knows her way around blood magic, and you know she knows how, like when she would make the tough decisions if she had to.
So
you know she would.
So I romanced him, but then I had the DLC. Let me tell you the most the most ridiculous romance I've done. The one that made no sense and it was just boring and he's boring and I hate him and he's actually a really
Sebastian.
Yes.
Fucking walking piece of cardboard. Yeah.
He is the most undeveloped.
He's the embodiment of a saltine cracker. No, even saltine crackers have more depth than this character. I don't know why. I don't know why they made that a thing. I don't know why they came out with the DLC that gave you Sebastian, because I don't know anyone who actively wanted to romance him. I tried and I failed. I put Fenris aside for him because I was like, no, I'm going to power through this. I'm going to do it. And then he's such a tease as well. He's like, oh no, I want to be a holy man.
We could be holy and priest together. I'm like, this is boring.
Let's pray together. It's like, okay, I'll get on my knees for you, daddy.
And he's like, no, we're really praying.
No, I meant like literally pray together. Oh,
shit.
Oh, okay.
This is
all right. Well,
and he's also like the most useless character. He's a great archer. No, he's not. He sucks. He dies 4 seconds after every. He is the fucking.
If I wanted an archer, I would go to Varric because Varric and Bianca are the best team. Bianca's his crossbow, by the way. Yes. Don't ask him why her name is Bianca, because that's a story he'll never tell. Except in Dragon Age Inquisition.
Yeah, when you actually meet Bianca. The real one.
What were your feelings towards her anyway? Because I have a lot of people who would fucking want to kill her.
I liked her. I liked their little banter.
Yeah, I like their banter. I mean, I can respect her, but I'm also like, don't you dare mess with my precious little Varric.
Look, Varric deserved it, though.
No, he didn't.
He treated her like I mean, look, they had a very symbiotically, like, I don't know. I like
her family tried to kill him because they were together. True. Because that's how the dwarven dwarven caste system worked.
Blah blah blah.
Yeah, he was
one and blah blah.
His house was beneath hers, very Game of Thronesy, you know. So when they found out they were. But when they found out that they were banging, her family was like, nah, we're going to kill him. And so she married someone else so they wouldn't kill him.
Which I respect.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the system that she was born into, and she's, handling it through the best of her abilities. One thing I did not appreciate, however, was her last parting comment of, if anything happens to Varric, Inquisitor, I will make you eat your fucking eyeballs. I was like, excuse me. I'm sorry. Who's fucking keeping him on a leash? You wanna talk about who cares about Varric? Let me tell you who cares about Varric.
Who's Varric?
Me.
Who's Varric's bestie? Oh, that's me and the champion. I don't remember you being anybody in.
Who was there to hug him if Hawk was left in the Fade? Me. That's who.
And Hawk is always left in the Fade because I'm not leaving behind. It was Hawk or who?
See, it's if you made Alistair king, it's going to be either Logain.
Yeah.
It's going to be either Logain or Stroud.
It's Stroud. I don't have Logain. I killed Logain.
But if you kept Alistair Grey Warden, it'll be him and Hawk. So at some point, you're going to have to leave one of them behind in the Fade. I did not know this. And because the dragon keep wasn't working at the moment, I had to go with some other life, some other world state.
Yeah,
in which Alistair was a warden. And well, let me tell you, it's about halfway into the game where that happens, or at least I think 3/4 of the way into the game, depending which mission you take first. And that happened, and I stopped playing and I started a new game. Couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Like I was like, oh fuck, I don't know. Oh shit, I don't know. And then I flipped a coin for it, and it ended up having to be Hawk that stayed behind, and that was one of the most difficult decisions I ever had to make in my life.
Yeah, no, it would.
And in the moment they came out, and Varric was like, "Where's Hawk?" I was just like, "No, nope, 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 nope. Just quit and start again." It hurt so much. I couldn't do it.
So let's talk about the painful choices of Dragon Age, shall we?
Oh,
how
how
about-
many are there? Let me count the ways.
Let's just go with 2. Your first painful choice. Do you take your lovely little sister down to the deep roads with you, if you're a mage? Do you take your
No.
sister to the deep roads with you? And if you do, if you don't take her, you leave her behind, she forever hates you. If you do take her and you don't take Anders with you, she dies. And if you do take her and you take Anders with you, she becomes a fucking Grey Warden.
Mm-hmm.
All of these choices
Yep.
suck.
And if you don't take her with you, she goes into the circle.
All of the choices suck.
Yeah. However, she has expressed interest in the circle, and she had before that said, like, maybe the circle wouldn't be so bad. I wouldn't have to hide anymore, blah, blah, blah. And then afterwards, when you play the game, it does turn out that she's actually quite happy in the circle. So, yeah, I would always make the choice to send her to the circle, because apparently she does not like being a Grey Warden, but she's okay with being in the circle.
I also send her to the circle, but she's really like she's like nice to you about it, but she's also like kind of bitter at you about it at the same time. You're just like,
I think she's more bitter about the fact that that's their lot in life at the moment, and that the circle in Kirkwall is kind of shit. I think it's more of the, like, if these Templars were just nicer to us, maybe this wouldn't be so bad, and we wouldn't. I think she's just pissed at the establishment more than you.
No matter where you go.
Yeah, but I'm glad that we both were in the position where we made sure that we had our sister and not Carver. So I'm guessing you didn't play a mage there.
Which one?
Because if you start the game as a mage, we start with 2 siblings. They are twins. They are
Carver and Bethany.
Yeah. Carver is a warrior, Bethany is a mage. If you play as a warrior or a rogue, Carver will die in the epilogue. That's what happens. You only escape to Kirkwall with 1 sibling. But if you play as a mage, it's Bethany who dies.
Yeah, so I've played both ways.
Because they're recruitable in your party. You can take them to your party. So it depends on what you play, and they will then basically round out whatever is left. So if you play as a mage, Bethany dies. If you play as
Carver's
another
just
class,
annoying. I'm
Carver
sorry,
dies.
he just is. He's like the worst
really
sibling.
is.
Like,
he hates everything you do. It's so difficult to get any friend points with him. It's like all rivalry all the time, because he's in your shadow and he fucking knows it, and he loathes.
Like, he literally just everything about you is shit, and you're like, fine, fuck you too, Carver.
He is the Robin to your Batman. It's so bad. Like, no matter what you do, you will never make him
Very
happy.
true. So then move on to Dragon Age Inquisition. You have lots of choices to make that suck, but the big one we've been hinting at this whole time are the Chargers. So the Chargers. So when you recruit Iron Bull is a Qunari. And they're a race of, like, just fucking badasses with horns and shit, right? And
yep, they're also very I don't want to say
very
militant, but they're
a
little bit cult. They're a little bit cult like. Like, you're not raised in a family unit when you are born. You are basically put in a group with all the other people who, like, the other your other peers, and you are raised by, like, specially delegated masterminds is what they call them. You are not given a name. You are given a number. You do not own your parents. You are part of the
And it's
queue.
really the big thing about Dragon Age and Mass Effect all is you have to talk to everybody. Like, I know you can't just power through and do the main quest. You have to get the story, because it makes more sense that way. So if you talk to Iron Bull and kind of just, like, keep digging into his past, he'll tell you all of these things, and you kind of get the feel of what life was like. So you can branch off, and you can become a spy. What's it called?
Well,
What's it?
No. The spies
Yeah, the
are
Ben
the Ben
Hospital.
Hasrath, but they are
Yeah.
still like within the Qun. If you, I think, if you abandon the Qun, you
Mhm.
are called a Talvashoth, and you're
Yes.
basically fair game.
So
You will be murdered if they come
Iron
across
Bull
you.
is a Ben Hasrath. He is a spy, and he has his
He
group
is a
of people
spy.
that he has with him called the Chargers. They're a ragtag group of people he's picked up along the way. You've got, you know,
Yeah, he's a
yes,
mercenary captain.
they're all
Basically, they're his
mercs, and
mercenary group.
they're all great. You have CPP Krim, um, who
Sweet
I love
baby
the
Krem.
most because it's the first transgender character that you see in like these games, and they don't even like.
Yeah,
It's not a
yeah,
big deal. Like they mention it, and that's it. They mention it, I guess, so you can kind of know,
yep.
and that's it.
If you ask, basically, if you ask Krem how he ended up with Iron Bull, he's like, well, this is why I was, passing for a man, but then some people didn't like that and they started to beat me up, and then Bull saved me, and that's how he lost his
Yes,
eye. He only
yeah,
has one eye.
yes,
He wears an eye
it's very
patch.
hot.
Hot. And then you can basically ask questions about it, but they're all, at least in my opinion, I'm not a trans person. I can't judge about that, but
They
they all
are
seem
like
very
they're just
respectful.
actual like
And
questions, not like
especially,
they're not like disrespectful questions. They're just like in general like life questions, and it's so cool.
yeah, exactly. So,
Hmm.
and everybody's
Yeah,
just fine with
it's just
it.
called
So,
Prem.
good
So
on you.
there is there's a major
There's,
plot point. One of the big ones after you get Iron
yeah.
Bull, you're supposed to there's these ships that are coming that are supposed to help you with the cause. They have like secrets, something, I don't know. They're supposed to help you. The helpful ships, and your point is to
Yeah, it's basically a Canary
yes,
fleet pulling in with
we have
like, hey, we
secrets.
have a Canary fleet coming in, but there's
Hmm.
Tevinter
So you
mages
need
on
to
the
kill
same
the
coast. We need you
mages,
to go
right?
and take out those
So
mages, so that the Canary dreadnoughts
you're
can
up
pull
at
up.
one spot with Iron Bull, and then all of the Chargers, who were Iron Bull's merc people, they're at another spot, and they're supposed, and you're trying to kill the mages over here, and then you realize that there's the Chargers are getting overrun. So you're like, okay, you can do one of two things. You can save the Chargers, or you can let the dreadnought, or you can like let them go and let the dreadnoughts come and like take them out.
So basically, if you pull back the Chargers, the dreadnought's going to get destroyed. But if you don't pull them back, they will die. So you either have an alliance with the Canary, which would be good for the Inquisition, or Bull's ragtag group of lovable misfits is going to die. But then the Canary will probably be pissed at you, and you will get an alliance with them.
So this is the thing. When you first play this part, like I'm pretty sure everybody made this mistake because in your thing you're like, okay, yeah, just whatever. We need the Canary. Fuck the Chargers.
Yeah.
Um,
No.
I don't think you understand. Like, okay, my roommate and I played this game together. Like, she watches me play. We make all major decisions together. The storylines go never. So we're sitting there like, oh yeah, 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 and we let it happen. And when the Chargers get overrun, and Iron Bull stares at them, and when you talked, oh god, it's just like
It's bad.
it's
Cause
heartbreaking.
he's constantly like, look, they know what they signed up for. They know that this is a part of what could happen. They know that this is a part of the job. It's fine. I'm a Canary first and foremost. But that's not true. Like when you're talking to him, it fucking hurts. He loved those people, and you had to make the difficult decision to
It is
fucking
probably one of the
give them up.
worst decisions. Like we made
Oh,
it,
it's
we
so
did it,
bad.
and then we just sat there with our like just like
So much regret.
I mean like so much
Just
pain. Like
all
I don't
regret.
and immediately no matter what choice I make in the game, I can change every single choice in the game except
Yep.
for that one. I don't know what happens if you do keep him and you do have the Canary Alliance. I have no idea what happens because I never played it. Never. I never will. I don't give a shit.
I know what happens. If you do it, He basically completely devotes himself to the Qun again. But this is very subtle. You don't notice it in Inquisition until you play the Trespasser DLC.
This is where my game
Because,
glitched.
yeah, and in the Trespasser DLC, if you come to a certain point, you get attacked by Kunari. He turns around, and this is where it hurt me
I
because I
was
had to look it up because I had to
offended.
know. He calls you boss. He calls you boss because you're boss. But however, like a word for like outsiders, I think it is for Kunari, is Bas, Bas. So at that point, when you countered the Kunari and you have sacrificed the Chargers and allowed Bull to be completely like absorbed into the Qun again, he will turn on you and he will fight with the Kunari against you, and he will just say, "Sorry, nothing personal, boss," and that just
I can vouch exactly what happened because I don't know. Okay, so I finally. It took me quite a few years to finally get to try to do the final like trespasser end, right? So I did it, and I'm going through, and Iron Bull is like always in my team because he's a fucking hoss. Like my team is always usually Iron Bull. Um, yeah,
I
Iron
love him
Bull,
so much.
Dorian, fucking baby Dorian. I love Dorian so much. Iron Bull, Dorian, and usually
Yep.
Varric. That's usually my team.
That's
because
pretty much my
I'm a
team
mage
as
and Dorian
well.
can resurrect people, so it's fine. So that's usually my go-to team. And so we're powering through at the end, and he turned on, and I was like, "What the fuck?" I had to pause the game and look up what happened, and I was like, "But wait, I always save the Chargers. We were besties. My game glitched."
Yeah.
I don't know what happened, but like for some reason my game assumed that I have no idea, but I was pissed. I was like, "Why did he just turn on me? Why did he just turn on me?"
The worst part as well is it doesn't matter if you romanced him or not. Like if
Mm-mm.
you probably think if I romanced him, he's gonna stick by me. No,
Nope.
if you romanced him but let the Chargers die, he's still gonna turn on you, and it's still gonna hurt. Cause that just fucked me up, man. Just sorry, boss. When he called me boss, I was just like, no, Bull, no, can't.
It's painful. Like
It's very painful.
it's just a lot. Like, and it's probably one of the most like. It's about as bad as when you realize that Solus is a dick. Like at the very end of the game. Again, this is a major spoiler. At the very end of the game, after you beat Criffy Pants, and you're like, okay, cool, I've got the orb, everything is great, woo woo woo. Here
You
comes
don't though. The orb's destroyed,
yeah,
and
orb
that's the
destroyed.
problem. Solus was kind of salty about
You're
it.
like, and
He was
Solus was like, you destroyed the orb, and I was like, I mean, did I? It's fine, everything's fine. He's
no,
like,
it's like no, you're just like, I'm sorry, the orb is broken. And he's like, it's fine. I kind of wanted it in one piece, but these things happen. It's absolutely fine. It's fine. But then he just fucks off and he leaves, and you don't see him again, ever. You don't see him again until the end of Trespasser. Well, actually, there's a scene at the end of Inquisition where he meets up with Flemeth and he absorbs some kind of power from her, and she like turns to stone, and it's all very like, it was a what the fuck moment for me. I'm not sure how it was for you, but for me I was like, what Solus, what? You don't get any answers out of it. It's just like Solus does this weird thing, and like there's a lot of oh my god, what's happening kind of, but no answers. But you get those answers in fucking Trespasser, and let me tell you, I didn't like them. Did not
so
care
that's
for them.
one thing I will not spoil for you guys. Like, if I really want you guys to play, I want everybody listening to play this game because it's a fucking epic ride. I will not spoil. So
No, let's spoil, but let's say we're gonna give you 5 seconds to turn it off. Like, we're going to do a countdown from 5 to 1. If you don't want to hear the spoiler, if you want to play through all of Dragon Age 1, 2, and 3 and the DLC and find out what it is, just stop now, okay? We're going to count down because this is something that we need to talk about. We're going to count down.
Okay.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Fucking Solus and the fucking what? I know.
Yep. Yep.
Ah!
Yeah.
Ah!
So it turns out Solus isn't an elf. He's a fucking elven god.
He's a god! He's a fucking god! He's a fucking god!
Like, all through the games, you hear about these elven gods like Mythal, and one of them is the Dread Wolf. And it turns out the Dread Wolf is Solus, and he's just been taking a little nappy nap for the past thousands of years or so. And he's not happy with the state of the world and how his people are being treated. So he's like, I'm gonna hard reset this bitch. And he goes to Corypheus because he's like, I've been sleeping. My orb is out of power. I need a good magical jumpstart. And this crazy mage person, Corypheus, is a crazy mage person who just turned into a dark spawn, and it's like there's a hole to do. He's crazy. That's all you need to know. And he's evil. So he goes to Corypheus and he's like, I can help you if you just take this thing. And he's like, I'm just gonna wait until he, puts some juice in my ball, and then I'm gonna take it, and I'm sure it'll be fine. Well, turns out it's not. Corypheus ends up ripping a hole in the sky. Yeah, I said what I said. I said what I said.
I had to take that minute.
But yeah.
Go ahead.
So I said what I said. And I stick by it. I made a choice and I'm sticking with it. So turns out it wasn't as harmless as Solus thought, because Corypheus ends up ripping a giant hole in the sky, and demons rain out of it. Because what Solus wanted to do is he wanted to remove the veil between the Fade and our world, so that the whole magic thing could come back, and the veil is basically what's separating our world from the Fade, and it's what's dampening magic, kind of. And he wanted to rip it all down, destroy everything, so he could restart. Because he's like, fucked up. He made the veil, and then he was like, fucked up. I should have done that.
My bad.
Except his hard reboot means
like,
everything's
he
gonna
was
die.
Like, it's cool. And what kills me is that if you once you know, and you go back to all of your fucking interactions with him, you're like, oh. And honestly,
it's there, and you can hear him lying to your face, and it's like in one of the very first scenes when you meet up with him, and like the whole intro, when you meet up with them, you're accused of doing this, of ripping this hole in the sky, because you're the only survivor that they found in the wreckage, and they're like, oh, you must have done it. And you meet up with them at a moment. Cassandra brings you there, and he's like, Cassandra, you should know this magic is unlike anything I've ever seen. Liar!
Look,
you fucking liar! You dirty rat liar! How dare!
I never have him in my party to begin with, because Vivian is better than him. So is Dorian. Yes. So if I'm going to have a fucking mage in my party, Dorian or Vivian is who it's going to be. But when I first played, again, not knowing that the fucking egghead is a fucking traitor, I didn't know. And I think that's why it's hard for me to go back now and play as a romance character with him, because I know that he's a fucking asshole.
You know he's lying to you. Like, that's why, like, I played the romance with him, and it's still very emotional, and it still hurts a little bit. But I can't imagine what that must have felt like for people who went in the first time romancing him. Like, how much of
an elf to romance him, by the way. And I never play as an elf. That's also why.
A female elf.
So also, one of the cool things about Dragon Age or Inquisition is that you can be an elf, you can be an elf from the Alien Age, or like a city elf, or like a country elf, if you will, for lack of better terms.
The term
city elf and like city mouse and country mouse, but city elf and country elf. So you can be a human, you can be a maid, or whatever you are. Okay, people interact with you differently based on that, and there's no other time that you can see it happen is whenever, because you get the DLC, you can play as a Canary, which is really cool, except you're like taller than everybody else, and it's hilarious. When you go to the Wicked Hearts and Wicked something, whatever, that quest,
Wicked Eyes and Wicked Hearts.
When you go do that, which is at this giant fucking party,
Yeah, you're basically in the Empress of Orlay's Winter Palace. There's a ball going on, and she's going to be assassinated that night. You know this. You just need to figure out who it is and stop them. But it's like a whole political thing. So you get this meter with approval points as well. So if you do something that's not okay to the court, you will lose approval points. If it gets too low, you'll be kicked out, and the mission will be a failure. If you start as anything other than a human, you start with less approval
But it's
points.
so interesting to see, like, if you've played any other thing, any other, like, first, of course, played as a human mage, and they treat you weird because you're a mage.
Yep.
And then if you play
Yep.
as a Canary, oh boy, the shade you get as a Canary, the shade you get, but then if you
Yep.
play as an elf, like when you talk to certain people, it's so interesting to the little nuances of how the dialogue changes that you get, the
Yep.
interactions that you get from different people. It's so prevalent in that particular quest, which is also one of the most annoying quests. Just a little side note, except for
True.
their
Did you ever find all of the caprice
no.
coins? Me
My
neither.
favorite is whenever they're announcing you into the court. Like, don't rush through.
Oh
Do
God,
not
yeah.
if you're playing the game,
Listen.
do not rush through.
Listen.
Listen to all of the titles, especially Cassandra's. Her
Oh
name is
God.
so long.
Cassandra, Philomena, can you get on with it?
But listen to how they're
Did you
talking
ever
to you,
think-
like because they announce everybody that you're in your party that comes in, and it's just so cool. It's little stuff like that that makes this game so interesting to me. But if you play as a noble, you get this whole spiel when you enter in too. It's one of my favorite pieces of Dragon Age. It's why I love Mass Effect. I've played it numerous times, but Dragon Age is my heart because I might go play it after I finish this now. I was playing Skyrim, but I might go back and play Dragon Age. Who knows? Just because you go back and like, no matter what you do, everything is a little bit different each and every time you play. It's a little tweaked, a little because there's so many different ways you can be a different. Like I've never played as like I've only played as an elf like barely, and even then like so I don't know how that's going to go the rest of the game. I played as a Canary and that was weird, but Iron Bowl treats you differently as a Canary. He talks to you a little bit differently.
He does.
He interacts with you a little bit differently, but so does everybody else. Also, he doesn't like whenever you have the romance scene with Iron Bull as a Canary. It's also a little bit different as well. It's actually pretty funny. Recommend 10 out of 10. Recommend.
True. Please, just even if you don't want her on your party, but just please take Sarah with you once.
Sarah
to Wicked Eyes. Just to Wicked Eyes, just once, just to hear her introduction, because they introduce her as her ladyship, my balls.
Sarah is, I mean, also kind of a pointless character because I hate archers. This is what I do. I hate them, except for Varric because he has a crossbow.
Yep.
It's a different story. But Sarah's banter, especially her and Vivian in the same party, it's gold.
Great.
And we've talked about everybody except for my sweet baby Dorian.
Oh, sweet baby Dorian! But I could talk about Dorian for hours and hours, and we're already over an hour.
I know. My roommate loves Dorian so much that she created a character just so as a male character, just so she could romance Dorian. But she fucked up because she romanced Dorian and what's her pants?
Josephine.
And Dorian found out and got salty.
Oh no!
No, I didn't mean for it to happen. But yeah.
But the thing is, as well, like as a woman, you can flirt with him. You will have the flirty options, and he will totally flirt with you. And then once you get that confrontation with his father, which you do get, and he basically specifically tells you that he's only into guys, you can have two reactions. You can just pretend that like you never heard it, and just like jokingly be like, "I thought we had something special," you know, but. You can also genuinely be hurt about it, like you didn't know. But then I was like, how could you fucking not know?
I mean, how could you not know?
How could you not know? He's great. He's fantastic. His storyline is one of the greatest storylines. He's such a great character. He's from Tevinter. He's a mage. He's the son of a very prominent member of their like council there, um, in a very prominent family, and he's their only heir. So he is expected to marry well for influence, blah blah blah. But Dorian is gay, which means that he cannot or will not, cannot marry a woman and start a family without completely betraying who he is. Because whoever he would end up marrying to, you know, produce offspring and keep the family name intact, it would be someone that he could not possibly love. So he basically spells it out as my only option was being stuck in a loveless marriage for the rest of my life, which he did not want to do. Can't say I blame him. And his dad, as is pointed out during that confrontation, his dad kind of panicked. Was like, shit, we're not going to get grandkids. It's going to be the end of my line. And he tried to, quote unquote, fix him with blood magic.
Yeah, it's like Pray the Gay Way, but Treventer style.
Pretty much. It's like gay conversion therapy, but with blood.
It ain't good.
It's the worst. So Dorian was like, and the moment he says that as well, like in the dialogue, when he just tells you everything, he's like, did my dad ever tell you why I fucking left? Because here's why. You know, he's explaining everything. And then, like, he said, like, you tried to change me. And the way he says it as well is like, you can hear his voice break. He's like, you tried to change me. And I was like,
it
good. It
is
hurts, man. As a queer person myself, that fucking hurt. Like, you tried to change me. And I'm lucky because my family, like, does not give a shit. They're like, whatever, you come home with a boy, girl, something in between, I don't care. And my family's great and I love them for it. But it's like, it could have been the other way because, like, it's a balance and you can be on the one side or the other side. I was lucky I tipped on the good side. He did not. And, like, that very easily could have been my life. And I'm very much aware of that. So that fucking struck home. And whenever I go through that cutscene, every single time, I still get choked up. Just you tried to change me.
And it
just hurts.
And it's so fun because, like, I did not want him to go talk to his dad. I knew something bad happened, but they forced you to have that interaction. You have to have it, and you have it, and you're just so hurt, and you can feel his hurt, and then his dad is just like, you know, like, oh, baby Dorian. But I will give you this: Dorian is still. He's sarcastic and sassy and just fucking.
So basically, Tevinter is hated globally because they're basically, mages are repressed in most of Thedas. They're locked in towers because they are dangerous. That's a very complicated thing to get into, which we will probably do in another episode because we've been talking for an hour and a half. But like in Tevinter, magic reigns supreme. And not in a good way.
Because they mentioned Tevinter is also where
people have slaves.
That's where
Fenris is from.
Fenris is from. Fenris in Dragon Age 2 was a slave. That's what.
Yeah. So basically, what his master did is he grafted like lyrium into his skin, which was apparently so painful that he blacked out and lost half his memory. And it is also implied that he physically abused him. It's very much a picture of an abusive relationship. Not really relationship, it's just straight up abuse, but that's what makes Fenris so interesting as a character as well, like everything he's had to overcome.
And that he's still able to love if you want him to.
Yeah.
It's good.
But that's basically what Tevinter is. Tevinter is not a great place. And Dorian knows this, but Dorian's like, fuck this, you know? Tevinter can be better. It can be so good and so much better, but everybody there is just stupid. I'm not. I'm going to fix it. And that's why he comes to the Inquisition, because he wants to fix his homeland. And he's very much like a good person. And I think one of the endings that you can get with him, or I think that is the ending actually, he does go back to Tevinter, and I think he does end up marrying some woman for like political power, just so that he can take his dad's seat on like the council or whatever and change the system from the inside. I think.
I can't remember, honestly, because they do this whole, like,
Can't remember either.
they do this whole, like, at the end, they do this, like, cut.
Like these ending cards, like they did in Fallout as well. It's like, well, this is what happened.
And it's
to this person.
you and your lack of an arm.
Yep. Oh Jesus. Yeah. Yeah. As if that's not enough. As if it's not enough. The Solus fucking turns around and betrays you and turns out to be an elder god. No, he fucking cuts your arm off too. The prick.
You have a nubbin. You have an arm nubbin, and you're just like, what the fuck? I live in
I'm a dual wielding rogue. How can I stab people efficiently with only one knife?
I live in an age of magic. You couldn't have put my arm back. There's no other way you can have the shit off. Oh, okay, cool.
Derek has a mechanical crossbow. You telling me that Bianca can't like whip up a mechanical arm for me, or is that not something you could do? Like, just tie a stick to it and put a dagger at the end. They'll stab people that way. It's fine.
Literally, that's how I feel about it. That whole arm made me so angry, and
that made me so angry.
But anywho, so that being said, we talked for like an hour and a half, and we definitely did not even like scratch the surface of everything. But
no, I think we ended up talking more about Dragon Age.
We did, because it's my soul.
It is.
But
I think we're gonna have to do another one.
We will definitely have to do it. If you guys want one. If you guys want one to know more, let us know. We'll just write more about this, because
if you have questions, ask us questions.
Please ask us questions if you have questions. Like, if you...
And in the meantime, if you have played it, who did you romance? What choice did you make? Did you leave the Chargers behind, and why not?
And if you did leave the Chargers behind, I mean, if you did not leave the Chargers behind and you killed them, are you okay? What happened?
You should get help.
What happened after that? Because we don't know. And did this make you want to play it? Did we ruin things for you? Like, do you want to play? Because you should play. And
you should. It's
highly recommend you play it from the beginning, just so you can see Liliana's arc. Please understand that Dragon Age Origins is a 360 game, or it's an older game, so the graphics aren't the best. It's actually not bad, though. I've replayed it.
And there are mods. If you play it on the PC, there are so many mods that can make the experience a little more visually pleasing for you. Just one thing. If you do decide to play it, be prepared. This is a game that you have to sink hundreds of hours.
Oh yeah, it's not a quick ride.
There's going to be a lot of choices to make, which also means that there are a lot of different outcomes that you can get. If you really want to play it, don't be afraid to look up the different outcomes and pick which one you want to get and follow a guide to get there, because you will be sinking a lot of time into these games. Just if you want a particular outcome, like if you want to be queen, like Vanity, like look up how to do that.
And noble.
Play a human noble.
However, I would say this: part of me misses the age where we didn't have like the guide straight on your phones or whatever. I kind of say play it and make the choices how you think you should make the choices.
Yeah.
Just play it once and just...
If you're okay with replaying it, if you're okay with sinking hours into the game and getting an outcome that you might not be happy with, by all means do so. But if you're very, very set on like, I'm just going to play this once and I really, really want to have an ending that I like, then look up a guide. There's no shame in doing that.
I do it all the time.
Not. You play how you want to play.
I look up guides all the time. I mean, it's literally my life. But to how I got through Fable. However, I will say though, the only thing that major thing, like if you want to be queen or king, be a human noble. Mages aren't looked upon very well. I would say look at...
You're either going to be a rogue
or a warrior. And your origin story
and a human noble.
Oh, it's painful.
It sucks. It's a painful one, man. It still makes me cry.
It's pretty bad.
I've started it like 50 times and still makes me cry.
It's pretty bad. But you get your dog. Don't forget to get your dog.
Yes. Yeah, as a human noble, you get your dog anyway, but if you're not a human noble, you can get a dog in camp. Look, if you have questions...
let us know.
Yes.
But
if you have questions, let us know.
Seriously, I do recommend just play Dragon Age from the beginning, sink your time into it, be a human noble if you want to be, but if not, if you don't care about being, because you could also harden Alistair and still be like his fucking consort, or you can say fuck it and you can be queen without having any of them on the throne. So you
never settle for a consort. if you want to be, if you can be a queen.
There are so many choices, so many things.
And if you play as a guy, you can be king. You
can.
just, don't put Alistair on a throne. You just stick Nora on that throne and say, like, I'm going to marry her.
Or you can just be by
king now.
yourself.
Can you, though?
Yeah. You don't have to put any of them on the throne. You can still say fuck it and rule by yourself.
I don't think you can do that. I think you always have to have, like, either a Nora or Alistair on the throne if you want to rule.
I don't think you do, but we'll find out. I'll Google it later.
We'll find out.
All right, guys. But I think we've been talking for a while, and I'm actually kind of hungry, so...
Yeah, me too. And I'm going to take a walk in, like, an hour, so...
I got to figure out what I want to eat, because I don't have any milk, and I want to go to the store, so...
All the food. Do you have pasta? Rice?
I have rice.
Good.
I'll make some food.
Fried rice, fry some veggies, crack an egg in there, you got stir fry.
Yeah, buddy. I have all those things. All right, guys. This has been fun. I was playing Skyrim, but I feel like I'm going to go play Dragon Age again.
Yeah, I'm still playing it on the PS4. So I should probably go back to that at some point. Now that I have a cable again and I'm able to play.
Look at that. Look at this. What are you playing as?
Human rogue. Stabby stab rogue.
I think I'm always a stabby stab rogue. I'm gonna be a rogue. I think I might go back and play my elf. I might go finish her storyline. Just and romance soulless, even though it bothers me.
Do it. All
right, guys.
Feel that pain. Thanks for joining
us.
Fun. Hope you like listening to us waffle on. We're probably going to do another one of these.
We have to
talk about Dragon Age and Mass Effect forever.
I mean, it's going to be a thing. It's an ongoing series of Ava and Vaniti talking about Dragon Age.
And then eventually we will get to Andromeda.
I still never finished it. I kind of blocked it out.
Oh, honey, we'll get there. Okay. That can be our next one. We can talk about what we don't like about EA. That being one of them.
They create a good world and they fuck you in the face with it, okay? That's what EA does.
Pretty much. But we'll get there
some other time. All right, guys. Head on back to that real world.
Yup. Bye.
Bye.
All hail the Simizens.
Badish. Dag dag.